Good afternoon and welcome back to Questioning Sense with me, Matt. Hope you guys are well. I hope it's all going as smoothly as possible in your world, and I hope you're getting through these rather crazy times. I think, hopefully, I may have said this before over the last year, there seems to possibly be a light at the end of the tunnel. So hopefully we'll be getting back to normal, because I can't wait to get out there and start hitting up perfume shops again, going into pubs and going into restaurants and eating lots of food and drinking lovely, lovely booze. And obviously, you know, just everything calming down. It'll be great. And when that does happen, I've got a lot of new perfumes that I want to get out and road test properly. I mean, I've worn most of my new ones to work and stuff like that. Work seems to be a bit of a proving ground for perfumes, you know, at the moment. And I normally kind of, you know, I always wear perfumes to work, but I'm not sort of normally wearing so many new ones and getting feedback from masked faces looking at me quite blankly. Anyway, today we're looking at a perfume from the Executive Shaving Company. Now, they are purveyors and providers of all fine shaving products, both the sharp stuff and the smooth stuff. So if you're interested in proper shaving, obviously I don't do too much. I do shave here though. But obviously, you know, this is the place that you want to go. Now, they've actually launched an EDP perfume, which is here, and it's called Lomond. And this is a collaboration with Matt Wilson from Norton and Wilson. He's also from Pocket Sense as well. So Matt's got a real pedigree behind him. He's been involved in some major products, released some major perfumes, to be honest. The new stuff from Pocket Sense is absolutely phenomenal. And obviously Gravitas from Norton and Wilson is really, really good. So between them, the Executive Shaving Company and Matt, they have produced Lomond. This is, as you would expect, a gentleman's fragrance that is closely attached to the shaving world. Now, it's called Lomond, which is a rather beautiful loch in Scotland. Now, Matt, I do believe, doesn't live that far away from it. Now, I have a close affinity with Scotland. My mum's Scottish. My mum's entire family are Scottish. My wife's Scottish. All her family are Scottish. And then, you know, by default, my son is half Scottish. I like to think of myself as almost an honorary Scotsman. But it's a, you know, it's a place I've been since childhood. We go up to Scotland a lot. Obviously not now. So it's a place that I feel very at home at. And the idea of a perfume reflecting the loch is such a lovely idea. It's meant to represent in an olfactory representation of the loch after a summer's, you know, after summer rainfall. So you can imagine sort of rain bouncing off all the lush vegetation around the loch, creating all these wonderful aromas. Whether it does that or not, I don't know. I have not been to the loch since I was a kid. So it'd be very, very difficult and very dishonest of me to say it smells exactly like that. It's taken me right there, because it simply hasn't. But there you go. So what we'll do is we'll have a quick spray of it. I have worn it today. I've worn it an awful lot lately. This is my evening's kind of treat. As you can see, I've smacked quite a lot of this out. Now, the reason I'm doing the review is I was speaking to Matt, and I speak to Matt quite a bit. We talk perfume an awful lot, actually. Not only his stuff, but my stuff as well. We, you know, just chat about what we like, and sometimes we both spray perfume at the same time. And, you know, he's in Scotland, I'm down here, and we talk about it and sort of what we can find and sniff out. Matt's got a really, really good nose, and he's got such a keen interest in perfume. He's definitely, you know, one of these guys that's obsessed with perfume. That's probably why we get on. So he sort of suggested that, you know, they send me a bottle to see what I think of it. And genuinely and honestly, I absolutely love it. So when it came down, I sort of sprayed it. I was kind of expecting it to be similar to what it is, but it's a lot better than I kind of imagined it to be. It's a lot sharper. It's a lot more interesting than just a simple barbershop. So what we'll do is we'll have a look at the notes, and I'll spray a little bit more, actually. It's always a treat, isn't it? And we'll go through the notes, and then we'll talk. Look at that for a sprayer. Put a bit more on the other wrist. That's amazing. Look, from this range, bam, beautiful mist. Beautiful mist comes straight out of that atomizer. Bottle is perfect. I love the presentation. It's really, really good. So what we'll do now is we'll go through the notes, and then we'll talk a little bit about how the perfume performs. You know, when's it going to be good to wear, and who can wear it, that kind of thing. Okay, so first up, Lomond is an EDP. Now, because of the nature of the perfume, you wouldn't expect it to be particularly long-lasting, but you would be wrong. This has absolutely excellent performance. This lasts me easily through an entire working shift. It's very, very loud and very punchy to start off with, then it dries down and it sits closer to your skin, but you will be aware of it for hours, literally hours. If I wear this to work, You know, when I leave, I like to apply this just before I leave because I love that freshness as I walk out into my day. And it really does project out very, very strongly. In fact, so much so, sometimes in the evening when I wear this, my wife absolutely loves it, but she finds it a bit too potent because what will happen is I'll go and have a soak, shave here, and then I'll come out the bath and I'll put on what I'm wearing in the evening and I'll apply this, and my wife will be like, wow, that's really strong. But then it drops off and she loves it. I mean, she really is a big fan of this one because it smells so clean and fresh. But performance-wise, that first burst, it really does kick out, and then it drops off and sits closer to your skin, but it's not a skin scent. It sits above the skin, and it's rather wonderful. And the notes are really interesting. You have herbs, you have oak moss, you have earthy, woodsy notes, you have lavender, obviously, you have patchouli, you have rosemary, you have amber, and it's a beautiful concoction. Now, because it's a barbershop, you'd expect there to be a lot of lavender, and there is, but it's a fresh lavender. It's not like, for example, like Caron Pour and Homme, the lavender, which that is too, you know, I like that perfume, but the lavender is very, very photorealistic, and it's too much because it's too lavendery. The opening of that perfume is a bit too much even for me. I love the perfume, but the first 10-20 minutes of it I could do without. I wish it was a little softer. And then that perfume develops beautifully. And this one doesn't. This one starts off beautifully. There's a little bit of sweetness to it. Now, I also find that this is a very refreshing perfume. So it's very clean, it's very fresh, but not in a massively citrusy way. It's just clean. I think there's something in it which gives a slightly menthol vibe. Now, I've got the same feeling from perfumes I have with lemongrass in it. I don't think there's lemongrass in there. I think there's something else in there. But it's not, to me, it's not particularly minty, but it has a slightly menthol kind of vibe, which again would be fantastic. If you're applying that just after you've shaved, it will invigorate your skin. It will make you feel alive. Beautiful, beautiful stuff. It is a herbal fragrance, and it is quite herby, and there is a woodsiness that runs into it. The patchouli is quite noticeable in this. I mean, it may just be me that I'm really keen, you know, I really seem to pick out patchouli very well, but it's beautiful. It has got that kind of shaving foam vibe to it, which you'd expect. It's a little bit more than that. But, and this is where I find this perfume really, really interesting. I'm quite old and I love this sort of thing, but it's not like, say, Azzaro or some, you know, or Rive Gauche or some of the other ones that really do smell dated. This one doesn't. This has a very modern edge to it. And what that does is that opens this perfume up to an entirely new market. I would say, you know, when I first arrived, you know, when this first arrived, I would say that this is one for the old farts. The thrusters won't like it. But I really, really recommend that the thrusters try it. And this is for a couple of reasons. Firstly, this perfume is, well, obviously it's beautiful, but it's a very classy affair. It makes you come across as very dignified. Now, if you're working in a suit, obviously you're probably working from home, I get that. But if you're a young man and you're working in an office, wearing a perfume like this will do you the world of good. Everybody likes to smell nice at work, and I think quite often younger guys, and I certainly did it when I was young and worked in an office, you wear kind of like, you follow trends, you know, you wear sort of sweet perfumes, you wear quite loud perfumes and things like that, and you're kind of extenuating your age. You're coming across as a young guy. If you're wearing something like this, it doesn't matter how old you are, you will come across as someone who's very classy, someone who takes care of themselves, someone who's quite wise. You know, you certainly give that impression of someone who's, you know, really in tune with what's going on, because you're so self-aware and you just smell great. There's nothing unpleasant in this. Now, young people will like this smell, old people will love this smell. It crosses that bridge perfectly well. So it's a perfume that, despite coming from a shaving background, certainly will appeal to pretty much all age groups. It does not smell dated, is a very long-winded point I'm trying to make. So really, really good stuff. It's cheap too. It's £35 a bottle, which I think is absolutely phenomenal for what you're getting. It's an EDP and it lasts and lasts and lasts. I know this is, the only thing I don't particularly like is the box, but I'm not really fussed about boxes, so don't worry about it. I will put this in my collection and it will sit with my other bottles and it will hold its head up high because it's excellent. So to summarise, this is a very masculine perfume. There's lots of earthiness to it, there's lots of woodsiness to it, but this herbally freshness just works so well. It's not dated, it's long lasting, and it smells bloody great. So there you have it. That's my take on it. If if you're into that world, don't go spending hundreds and hundreds of pounds trying to find discontinued Rive Gauche or you know, first generation bottles of Azzaro or stuff like that, go and just grab a bottle of that. You'll love it. Honestly, there's nothing about it to dislike if you like a barbershop style fragrance, which this is one of the best I've smelt, in all honesty. I mean, I'm getting older and I'm getting more and more into these sort of clean, gentlemanly style perfumes. You know, don't worry, I'm still into me mad stuff. That will never change. But there's times and places when I just want to smell clean and fresh, and this does it perfectly well. So highly, highly recommended. Anyway, guys, thank you very much for your time. I'm hoping to film again tomorrow because I've got a video planned called When Blind Buys Go Wrong. So hopefully that will come out this week and then you can all have a nice laugh at my expense. So there you go. Anyway, thank you very much for your time. Always a pleasure, and we shall see you on the next video. Cheers, thanks, and bye.